I was here at 6 this morning.
Oh my gosh.
And then after I had a big catering that I had to do upstairs, and once that was done, I head out to have a contract job too.
Oh, okay.
And I do accounting. I just finished it and then came back.
Is it
Been
just
a long
upstairs?
day. No, the catering was upstairs. No, my contract job is out in Tokyo.
Oh wow, okay.
So I just came back on Tokyo. That's why I was like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, I have way too much things to do to make it back here by 8.
Oh my gosh. No, I got in a very competitive Dutch Blitz match, and then it was good that it was pushed back. because I got to win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Where'd you win?
Nothing. Just bragging.
Bragging, right? That's hilarious. All right.
Okay. Number 1. What does your company do?
Well, our company is called deKifer. So de is the word of. So everything we make here is of kefir. It's from kefir. So think of kefir as a Eastern European, their version of cultured milk or yogurt. Main difference between kefir and yogurt is that kefir has a few more strains of bacteria than your typical commercial yogurt that you can find. So ours tend to be a little bit healthier. And then, yeah, we wanted to offer somebody a healthy snack or a healthy occasion for affordable price.
Yeah.
Okay, so where did you get the business idea from?
We actually, I would say probably in the early 2000s, there were a lot of crazy lineups for frozen yogurt. So my business partner is in food development, and she looked at all the ingredients in there, and she just went like, well, it's not as healthy as people think they are, but people are just lining up crazy for these, perceived to be healthier treats. So she's like, we can do something that's actually truly healthy and tastes good, hopefully. And so she said, let's sell kefir. And I was like, what's kefir? And then she was like, oh, that yogurt thing that your mom made growing up, because we're both family friends. Like our moms knows each other, so they both had like these kefir culture that they made their own yogurt or kefir at home. I hated it because it smelled disgusting, tasted really gross. And then so I was like, I'm not selling anything that I don't like. I don't like that thing. How do I sell something I don't like? She said, we'll make it taste better. So hopefully that's the goal that we achieved.
Yeah.
So we have a frozen kefir. That's kind of a spin-off on a frozen yogurt, but our frozen kefir is just 3 ingredients. So actually clean, healthy, no stabilizers, no gums, just milk, kefir culture, and organic cane sugar. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we truly made a healthier snack. And when people eat it here, they don't have to, worry about, oh my gosh, this is like just pretend to be healthy.
True. How did your personal experience, education, and interests help you with your business?
My background is actually, I'm a CPA, so I'm a chartered professional accountant. And so that side of my training and education has really helped because running a business is not just about a good idea, it's also about how to realize that good idea. And without any of the finance background, you can't really have it, or at least start off on the right foot with your business. And I also found that my training has helped us in terms of securing a lease in a path.
Yeah.
Because back, 8-9 years ago, no independent business was really down in a path. It was mostly national chain. So we had a tough time trying to find a location, and finally we found this location. And so that I think with our resumes that really helped, because the landlord was looking at us and saying, okay, these girls are serious.
Yeah.
Because they just quit their, really high-paying full-time jobs to come and do this. So they're not just joking around.
Yeah.
So how has the business changed or evolved from your initial idea?
We initially focused really only on kefir, and that was it. But as we talked to customer more, realizing what people are looking for, so we have non-dairy version probiotic like your kombucha. We also make our own kimchi, so a lot of the same method of selling some probiotics items. We also started selling lunch bowls, because everyone down in the financial district is either looking for breakfast, lunch, or snack.
Yeah.
And we're typically not open on the weekends and not open in the evenings. So in a way, we need to capture in other occasions. So we started selling lunch. So that kind of is how we kind of evolved our business. But we're still main focus is still on kefir and on selling probiotic food items.
Yeah. Did you require an external investment to start?
We needed. We probably both borrowed a little bit from our parents, but we both saved up, knowing that we were starting a business.
Okay.
We both saved up quite a significant amount of money to start off the business. And given that I'm an accounting, I have an accounting background, it helped to kind of put up a realistic budget. So we stuck to that budget and just mainly used our own money.
Did you develop a business plan? Why or why not?
We actually did do a business plan. Main reason that we did a business plan because we were applying for a grant.
Oh,
And the
okay.
grant required us to do a business plan. So we initially, both of us thought it was like really silly to like have to write a business plan. It's so classroom or school-like.
Yeah.
But then as we were writing it, we started realizing there were a couple of things that we didn't consider. Like for example, workplace insurance, various things that kind of came out of the woodwork. You know, with my accounting background, like I've helped a small business do accounting before, so I have a good idea of how to file government taxes and all that. But at the same time, there were still things that we totally didn't think about or kind of missed, or our competitiveness assessment was slightly different than what we initially thought. Because when you think how we sell frozen kefir because of frozen yogurt crate, you would think we were fighting the Menchies and the yogurties in the world, but down the path you're actually not. That's not our competitor. So through the analysis, we kind of figured out, okay, my competitor is anybody that's selling a $5 treat for the afternoon. So that could be a Starbucks Frappuccino, right? Because a person comes downstairs like, I need a treat. They could very well go to Starbucks to get a Frappuccino, or they can come to my store and get a frozen kefir. So that kind of changed our mindset in terms of, you know, really seeing who our competitors are.
Cool. What motivated you to start your own business? Like, did you ever think you would start your own business?
Not really. As an accountant, you're always very conservative, so starting off a business, unless you're doing accounting, is really the last thing I would think about. But I was at a point in my career where I needed a change, but I didn't want to get stuck in doing just the mundane, like month-end, quarter-end, year-end stuff. So when my business partner raised the idea of let's start a business, and we started brainstorming ideas, and that's how we decided to start. Yeah.
So what qualities or characteristics do you believe are important to be a successful business entrepreneur?
Well, one thing is that you have to be a dreamer, because you need to have a bright, like an idea that no one else has, so that you have a competitive edge. So if you don't dream big, then you always get stuck in a very little thing, which you can't really grow. But at the same time, you also need to be a realist, because what you think is a great idea is not necessarily a great idea.
Yeah.
Because you're an example of one. Even if you talk to all your friends are all gonna say, oh yeah, that's a great idea. But do you really truly know that they're saying that because they're your friends, or are they truly saying it because there's a need, right? Unless you go out and start randomly sampling people, even so, it's a small sample. So you really need to have a very harsh way of, like a very strict way of looking at assessing whether your business idea is truly a need in the market.
Yeah. What did your parents think when you said you were going to start your own business?
They probably initially thought that I was crazy, but as supporting parents, they always say, "Well, we'll support you." But I did have a good chat with them after I started a business. My mom did mention that, you know, you're young, might as well chase a dream so that you never have regrets. Because she probably, like, once she's, you know, my parents started a family, have kids, you can't really do that many things anymore. So there's gonna be regrets in life. So she's like, you know what, you might as well do it now.
Yeah.
And back, you know, 8 years ago, we were both singles, we didn't have families we had to worry about. So we thought about the worst case scenario is that I waste time and money.
Yeah.
Right? I can always earn more to make the money back, and time is just, it is what it is. That's a risk I was willing to take, and then so that's my parents probably initially thought, but they were very supportive.
Yeah. Why is it important to celebrate anniversaries as a company?
Well, it's milestones, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard enough to, you probably see around in Toronto, business go in and out
Yeah.
so quickly. So, 1 year is great, like good for you. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. As you count the years on, like we celebrated our 8th year last year. It's crazy every time I say that I've been here for 8 years, because I didn't think it was possible. When I first signed a lease of 10 years, I thought I was signing my life away. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to take a while. And little do I know, I'm approaching my 9 year
Yeah.
in 2019. So it's going to be quick. It's going to be fast. But celebrating milestones just kind of reminds you how far you come along.
Yeah.
And every anniversary, actually, the way that we celebrate here is we give away frozen DeKifers for free. So we only do it for a limited amount of time, but just every year the lineup just gets more and more insane. I had a person this past September. I had a person that showed up an hour earlier to start
Oh my
lining up. And I was
gosh.
like, wow. Like I get that we're giving something away for free, but people were willing to come that early
Yeah.
and find out. Yeah. So it's we usually give away probably about 700 to 800 frozen DeKifers
Wow.
in a span of 2 hours. So it's
Cool.
quite a bit, but at the same time, it's a lot of our regular customer or their friends. Like bring their friends down,
Yeah.
and there's no risk. Try it. If you love it, love to see you next week. Yeah.
Did you speak to any entrepreneurs or get any advice before starting your company?
We had a couple of friends that owned coffee shops or businesses around in Toronto that we kind of we chatted with on a high level. Obviously, we didn't really discuss in detail of what we're selling,
Yeah.
because at that time there was no one else doing what we were doing. But yeah, we definitely had just check with people on what foot traffics are like, or what are the challenges that they of running a small business. For example, understanding that staffing can be an issue,
Yeah.
because you can have a lot of part-timers that go in and out, like things like that we you might not think about.
What are your hopes and vision for the company in the future?
Keep growing. Have a few more locations. So we do currently have a second spot in Liberty Village.
Okay.
It is embedded within a supermarket called Organic Garage.
Okay.
So we're hoping to partner with people to kind of control our overhead. Like opening up a store in Toronto is very expensive,
Yeah.
because overhead is quite significant. And when I say overhead, it means rent to TMI or taxes, insurance, to labor, staffing, costs are all really significant. So the smaller footprint that we have, the better we have control over our cost. And so we're looking at just doing small kiosks, like models, rather than a full service store.
Yeah.
So how did you gradually grow your business?
Slow and steady. We actually had no second location until last year. So that's 8 years into our business.
Yeah.
We don't have an angel investor or a capital venturist behind us that had tons of money to throw at us. So everything's built ground up. So we made sure that every opportunity that came along, like there were opportunities that we participated in that didn't work out throughout our 8 years. So those were lessons that we learned, and then so we decided to just be very cautious and be careful of what we decide to invest into or to expand into or to partner with, the people that we partner with. And a part of the reason is that I have staff I have to worry about. Their well-being is on my shoulder. I have to make sure they're paid before I can go reckless with the money that I have generated from the business. Yeah, so they help me to make sure I'm in check.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything crazy.
How do you advertise your products and services?
We do mainly our advertising is through social media. So our main interfaces with people is mainly through Facebook. At the same time, as a food establishment, your best marketing tool is always sampling.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of our adventure, no one knew what kefir was. So we had to do a lot of explaining. On top of the explaining, we always make sure they tasted one before they got out. So a lot of our customers, our regular customer now is all came because, you know, they tasted it, they liked it. And so we're used to every lunch hour with the amount of like sea of people that's down here. Like right now it's really empty and quiet, but during the day it's not quiet. So we make sure that we brought the food right into their face and just try it. Anything free, people will take it, and if they love it, they'll come in. They'll come right in and buy one. So it's always like we'll always have impulse buy right immediately. And so sampling is probably one of the best ways to do marketing as a food establishment.
Yeah.
That's why people hand out a lot of samples in the industry. They want you to try it. Just try it, right? You can get granola bars, pasta, like all kinds of stuff that you get on the street. That's exactly it, because it's more a direct marketing.
Yeah.
Whereas social media, we do have some promotions. Like for example, our anniversaries are always promoted on there. We'll throw some content article, like things that are related maybe to healthy food in general, but something that's interesting for people to read. We don't just bombard them with like, oh, buy this, buy that. Just throw a bunch of photos up there. Yeah.
So what do you think makes your business unique and stand out from the others in similar fields?
Well, we're the only frozen kefir in Canada, as far as I know of. There is frozen kefirs in U.S. There is a big public company down in the U.S. that sells frozen kefir, but definitely in Canada, unless someone tells me otherwise, I have not seen any frozen kefir anywhere. And also kefir is more of a unique product. I don't even think people see it in a retail setting.
Yeah.
So I think we're the only one that does kefir in a retail setting. And so that's kind of like what's unique for us.
Yeah, I didn't even know what it was.
Now you do. Otherwise, we're gonna rewind to minute 1 and 2. Okay.
So do you have any advice for any entrepreneurs starting out their own business?
My advice for people is make sure you understand the risk that you're taking. When I say risk that you're taking, it's not just money. It's also your opportunity cost, which means it could be your potential job the salary that you're not earning. So you have to really plan out not just for the business part, you have to plan out your life.
Yeah.
At least for the short run. Otherwise, you will be surprised how slow sometimes it is for a new business to pick up. So if you don't plan for it, I'm not saying that you're not dreaming, still dream big, but if you don't plan for the worst case scenario, you're going to find yourself very surprised, and that's why a lot of businesses go out of business within the first year, because they really just can't make it. They didn't budget that loss into their budget.
Yeah.
Like we had to budget a lot of losses into our budget because we knew as a new product, there's no way people are going to buy it right off the bat.
Yeah.
First of all, they have to understand what it is, learn what it is, taste what it is, before they'll decide, okay, I like this, and I'll come.
Yeah.
Right? So that's always my advice to people. But and then the other one is, make sure you're factoring into kind of when I say risk, is also what's affecting the people around you in your life. So whether you have families that you have to take care of, that they're fully aware of what you're getting yourself into. Also, like for example, I went from making a really decent salary to making barely anything. And so that changed my lifestyle. When I changed my lifestyle, my friends had to adapt to it. I can't go out to eat with them as much anymore. So I had to change that up to maybe just have coffee.
Yeah.
You know, things like that people don't think about, that it affects actually everyone around them. But if you're ready for it, and you explain to your friends, all your friends are gonna understand. No one's gonna ditch you as a friend
Yeah.
because you go out and eat with them. But at the same time, like you're prepared for it, so you're not upset,
Yeah.
right? Or you're not stretching yourself very thin, pretending that you can still live that lifestyle where you can't live that kind of lifestyle.
True.
So you just have to really make sure that you're ready for a lifestyle change, not just like, because not everybody will hit it on bullseye. Every story that you see in the real world, like your Googles, like your Amazons, like, you know, even Uber, let's say,
Yeah.
Airbnb, like it makes you think, oh my gosh, I can just have a brilliant business idea and just go off. But you fail to see, because those in the spotlight are all the successful ones.
Yeah.
You did not see the 99% of the unsuccessful ones.
True.
So a lot of people will think, okay, I'm not gonna fail. This is gonna work. This is gonna work, and that's not gonna be. So you need to make sure you know where you need to cut off to have an exit
Yeah.
plan. If it doesn't work, you just need to cut it. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep bleeding blood and burn money.
Did you
Right.
ever get to that moment where were you thinking of ever cutting it, or was it?
Yeah, we had our tough moments in the first 1 or 2 years, but I think we budgeted far enough that, and we were both peddling our product very hard, like trying to really get in touch, and we believed in our product. Like, we believe that this is a trend. Like, look at how many frozen yogurts are out there now.
Yeah.
But we're into our 9th year.
True.
So, you know, having a healthier product that you can stand behind your product is better. That's so it's no longer just a fad. You never want to, you know, just run a fad, because unless you're at the front wave of the fad, you never make money. Just
True.
catching up to a fad. Yeah, because by the time you realize it's a fad, you're too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really good. And we made our 20-minute mark.
Oh wow.